The thing is, fellas, right now we live in dangerous times where there are already stand your ground and open carry states. In the age of police forces, reasonable response time, cell phones, cameras, high speed vehicles, it's something that's outdated as a citizen's arrest clause even necessary. I mean, isn't this kind of like a lynching protected by a lopsided law type of thing? Thomas, start us off.
Is it outdated? I think it's I think it should have never been because you have people like us, which are black people, and we are always subject to some kind of discrimination or something like that. So we're always at the mercy of these people. So and we're at mercy of the regular police. So and if they're supposed to be trained and everything like that, and supposed to take some kind of oath to uphold the law, and we're regularly discriminated and abused by them. So then you take these same, Caucasians, Europeans, whatever you want to call them or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then like they have the right to just, hey, willy nilly, I'm gonna arrest this guy because I assume he's a criminal.
Yeah.
It's not even like it's a wanted ad, Amber Alert picture flashed on your phone, and you're like, damn, that's the guy jogging outside of my house. Let me go get into action. I could dig that, but there's nothing going on. It was like it's not like this guy was on a wanted poster or anything like that. So I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's outdated, and I just think it's another loophole that the man has, stuck his foot through and firmly placed on our neck. Personally,
Isaiah.
Well, I want to do this. I want to start off by saying this, and I'm not changing my stance. But on the previous show, we had a discussion, and we were talking about peaceful protesting and who can protest and things like that. And Thomas and myself were having conversation about. He made a comment about we have to take care of ourselves. And we have to look out for us, for our people. And I was talking about we have to be cautious when we start to say things like that because we don't want to develop a mob or gang mentality and us versus them, despite the fact that's pretty much what we're dealing with as blacks right now. And I wanted to make sure that he understood that I understood his position, but I know that we have to be careful and tiptoe around that because, when we're talking about forming, and we're talking about, fighting and bumping heads like that, there can be no resolution when it's us against them mentality. Despite the fact that that's what's going on now for the most part, we have to be careful. And you guys talked a little bit about the gentleman's, I can't pronounce his name. Is it Ahmad?
Ahmad. Yep.
Yeah. Ahmad. You guys had a little bit more information at the time. I hadn't seen the video. I hadn't had a lot of the information. And after the show was over with, that following day, I sat down and I watched it and I was disgusted and appalled, much like with everything else. I'm not changing my stance about that before I answer your question, but I will have to double down on Tom's comment the other day, because when stuff like this is happening, again, we have to find a rapid resolution to this. And the talking and the marching and the hoping and all this other type of stuff, this ain't getting it, because while we're doing all of this, we still getting shot, we still getting killed, we still being attacked. So I don't change my stance about the fact that we have to find a way to be able to coexist and be careful about saying we got to take care of our people and it's us against them, because they've already declared that a long time ago and they've showed us how they feel about us. But back to your point, Book, the other day as well, we have to find a way to expedite the process where blacks are being treated like the human beings that we are. We're all humans, regardless of what color we are. And you guys had a little bit more. You guys saw the video and had more information. I was appalled when I saw it. I heard a little bit about it. I had been busy, doing this and doing that, and I had to really sat down and educated myself. But I definitely was disgusted and appalled when I saw it. Now, to answer your question more specifically, that is definitely an antiquated system. It is very old. It does not need to be in existence anymore, because just like Tom said, any loophole or advantage or angle for oppressors to find a way to continue to be able to attack and then to be able to aggravate and continue to discriminate against minorities, they're going to take advantage of that. And when you're using citizens arrest, this type of clause was put around at a time where they did not have a giant task force and different police stations and stuff like that. These were counties and countries and towns that were shorthanded, and they didn't have the law enforcement or the resources even with the vehicles that we have and the technology that we have to be able to make it from point A to point B and stop an assailant or attacker. So they lean a lot on
it dates back to medieval England. It dates back to medieval England, helping the sheriff collect tax. Like Robin Hood days. Like, this is outrageous.
Exactly. So we didn't have they didn't have the transportation, they didn't have the resources, they didn't have the technology, they didn't have the manpower. So you had to depend on civilians to be able to help out. You know, like if you see something, then damn do something. You know what I'm saying? There he is, go get him. You know,
and this was the time, when people was of a different moral fiber also.
That is true.
Women was everything sugar and spice, everything nice, and all of these kind of fairy tale type things. That's not the case right now. Like, it's not